parked her brand new shiny car in front of her office, ready to show it off to her colleagues. Now, as she got out, a truck passed too close to her car and completely tore off the door of the driver's side. The woman immediately grabbed her cell phone, dialed number 100, and within minutes the policeman pulled up. Before the officer had any chance to ask her any questions, the woman started screaming hysterically. Her car, which she had just bought a day before, was now completely ruined and would never be the same no matter what the body shop did. Now, when a woman finally wound down from her ranting and raving, the officer shook his head with disgust and disbelief and said, "I can't believe how materialistic you can be. You are so focused on the possessions that you didn't notice anything else." "How can you say such a thing?" asked the woman. The cop then replied, "Don't you know that your left arm is missing from the elbow down? It must have been torn off when the truck hit you." "Oh no," screamed the woman. "Where is my silver bracelet? Where is my silver bracelet?" This funny anecdote, friends, illustrates the human pursuit towards materialism. Today's materialistic world often urges us to buy the coolest gadgets, the trendiest clothes, bigger and better things. But research shows that possessions and purchases don't buy us happiness, but rather the opposite effect. Instead of making us happier, getting more stuff actually drags us down. It's just crazy what people spend their money on, the things people will do to flaunt their wealth, and the lengths that people will go in order to chase material items. Friends, we need to ask ourselves, what value does incremental wealth bring if the item it allows you to purchase don't bring incremental happiness? Psychologists have conducted many studies about whether wealth and materialism could lead to happiness, and all evidence failed to show this. After researching, psychologists have shown that there is no connection between wealth and happiness. Many people spend their whole lives chasing after money, expecting it to bring them happiness, success, and for it to solve all their problems in their life. Burnout, mental anguish, and wasted time are just few of the side effects of dedicating yourself to a pursuit that is overall superficial. Friends, we need to stop chasing money and start chasing the richness. Seeking richness means embracing the uncertainty of life with gratitude for each moment, opportunity, and mystery. Bob Marley, the Jamaican singer, musician, and songwriter who served as a world ambassador for reggae music, once said, "Some people are so poor that all they have is money. They focus all their energy and time on making money. Their self-esteem depends on how much they make, not even how much they possess." By and large, money buys happiness only for those who lack the basic needs. And once you cross a threshold of certain income, more money doesn't buy much more happiness. Now, a study of positive psychology from the University of Pennsylvania has concluded that happiness doesn't come from wealth, but from other factors such as friendship, hobbies, and ultimately having a passion and purpose. There is more joy in pursuing less than can be found in pursuing more. Minimalism presents a way out from the cycle of consumerism and unhappiness. Now, Epicurus, the ancient Greek philosopher, said, "Nothing is enough for the man to whom enough is too little." Minimalism encourages people to abstain materialistic tendencies by spending their money on experiences rather than on possessions. Minimalism doesn't write off all material possessions as inherently bad. Instead, it examines priorities, stripping away the excesses in our lives of spending too much money, owning too much stuff, accumulating too much debt, while leaving with too little meaning. Minimalism forgoes the non-essential in order to focus on the things that enhance our life, serve a purpose, and bring happiness. Minimalism goes beyond just consuming material possession. It means using not only our money but our time and attention with intention so that we fill our lives with things that bring us meaning and joy. Minimalism is not only focused on less stuff, it is also promotes having joy on the objects you carefully choose to own. Now, there is a common misconception that minimalism is about living a life of deprivation, but it is not true. Minimalism should not be confused with extreme self-denial or abstinence from necessities and worldly pleasures. Now, a year back, I happened to visit a gentleman who lived in a flat without water supply and electricity. He had no furniture, a cooking stove on the floor, and slept on the floor without a mattress. He kept himself aloof from relations and friends. He was so focused on the process of accumulation that he forgot why he was doing it in the first place. The man was wealthy, yet died in depriving himself. Minimalism doesn't mean that you can't indulge in the things that you enjoy. Minimalistic is a tool to rid oneself of the clutter in one's life and remove all excess in favor of focusing what is important. It's about reducing the baggage and the clutter so that you can see your loved and essential things in life clearly and spend more time with those that actually matter. It's all about intentionality. It looks for clarity, purpose, and priorities and strives to promote things we most need, not want. It also promotes value behind each object or action while removing everything that distracts us from it or steals our time and energy. Minimalism is freedom from excess stuff but also freedom from need to possess. Friends, desire begets more desire. The things you do for yourself are gone when you are gone, but the things you do for others remain as your legacy. Making greedy, emotional, or valued attachments to our material possessions not only decreases our level of happiness, but it's also useless because when we are no longer earthlings, we can't take any of our prized possessions with us. Nothing actually belongs to us. We are all just visitors down here. So when you are no longer in human form, everything gets left behind. More than that, what also gets left behind is your legacy. So when people speak about you, do you want them to speak only on how much wealth or how many things you had? Or do you want them to speak highly of the memorable moments they had with you and the type of upstanding person you were? The choice is yours, or the choice is ours. We need to learn to differentiate between things you value and the things that only make you momentarily happy in order to live a peaceful and fulfilling life.